You've probably done this your whole life, putting just about everything into the fridge, thinking it's the best way to keep food fresh. But what if I told you that some of your favorite foods might actually be suffering in there? Cold doesn't always mean better. In fact, for certain foods, refrigeration slowly breaks down what makes them good, dulling their flavor, changing their texture, and even reducing the nutrients your body relies on, especially as you age. And here's the surprising part. Some of these foods can actually spoil faster in cold temperatures, or even develop harmful compounds you don't want in your system. The results? Bland taste, odd texture, health benefits that quietly disappear. In this video, we're going to look at 10 common foods you should never keep in the fridge, and I'll explain exactly why. From potatoes and tomatoes to olive oil and honey, I'll walk you through the science in simple terms, so you can store your food the right way and protect your health with every meal. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Leave a comment below, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. Because just one small change in how you store your food could make a big difference in how it tastes, how your body feels, and how you age. Food number 1, potatoes. Let's talk about potatoes. Keeping them in the fridge might seem harmless, but it's actually one of the most common storage mistakes, and it can seriously mess with how they taste, feel, and even how safe they are to eat. Here's what's happening. When you store potatoes in cold temperatures, the starch inside them turns into sugar much faster. That might sound innocent, but it completely changes their texture, making them oddly sweet and grainy when cooked. Not exactly what you want in your mashed potatoes or roasted wedges. But more than that, those extra sugars can react during high heat cooking like frying or baking to create a chemical called acrylamide. And that's not just a buzzword. Acrylamide has been linked to potential cancer risks over long-term exposure. So this isn't just about taste, it's a real health concern, especially as we age and try to stay one step ahead of chronic illness. Cold storage also creates too much moisture, and moisture is the enemy here. It invites bacteria, breaks down firmness, and turns potatoes soft, smelly, and unappetizing way too soon. So what's the better move? Keep them in a cool, dark, well-ventilated spot somewhere like a pantry, a cellar, or even a paper bag. This helps preserve their natural texture, slows down sprouting, and keeps their nutrients intact. Avoid plastic bags at all costs. They trap moisture and speed up spoilage. Instead, go for breathable containers like mesh sacks or wicker baskets. And here's a bonus tip. Keep potatoes away from onions. Onions release gases that can make potatoes spoil faster. It's a small change, but it makes a big difference. Bottom line, treat your potatoes right, and they'll return the favor with better flavor, better texture, and better health for your body. So, are your potatoes still in the fridge? If not, leave a comment below that says "no fridge for me." Food number 2, tomatoes. Tomatoes might look tough on the outside, but when it comes to storage, they're surprisingly sensitive. And while a lot of people think the fridge is the best place to keep them fresh, it's actually one of the worst spots you could choose. Here's why. Tomatoes have natural enzymes that keep developing their flavor even after they're picked. When you stick them in the fridge, cold temperatures shut those enzymes down. The result? A tomato that tastes flat, feels mealy, and loses that vibrant, juicy bite we all love. Worse yet, refrigeration slows the natural ripening process, which means your tomatoes never get the chance to reach their full flavor potential. And it doesn't stop there. Cold storage also reduces important nutrients like lycopene, an antioxidant known to help support heart health, and may even lower the risk of certain cancers. So in a way, you're not just dulling the taste. You're missing out on some real health benefits too. To keep tomatoes at their best, store them at room temperature, away from direct sunlight. Place them stem side down. Why? Because that's where most moisture escapes and where bacteria can sneak in. This simple flip slows down spoilage and helps them stay fresher longer. Got unripe tomatoes? Just let them ripen naturally on your counter. And if they're fully ripe and you need a little more time, you can put them in the fridge as a last resort, but always let them come back to room temperature before eating to revive some of their natural flavor. If you want to extend their shelf life without losing taste, try storing them in a cool, dark pantry or in a paper bag. And one more tip, keep them away from ethylene, producing fruits like bananas and apples. That gas speeds up ripening and can push your tomatoes over the edge before you're ready to enjoy them. So if you want tomatoes that taste like they came fresh from the garden, skip the fridge. Leave a comment below if you agree. Room temperature wins for tomatoes. Food number 3, onions. Onions are a kitchen staple, but store them the wrong way, and they'll quickly turn from flavorful and firm to mushy, moldy, and far less appetizing. Putting onions in the fridge may sound like a safe bet, but here's the problem. Refrigerators are humid, and onions don't do well in moisture. That damp environment causes them to soften, become slimy, and promotes mold growth. On top of that, the natural starches in onions start converting into sugar when they're exposed to cold, giving them a strange, unexpected sweetness that throws off their flavor. Another big issue? Onions love to absorb smell sand. They're not shy about sharing theirs either. Their strong aroma can seep into other foods in your fridge, leading to some unwanted flavor combinations. No one wants their strawberries tasting faintly of onion, right? In high humidity refrigerators, onions are also more likely to sprout. Once they do, their texture and shelf life start going downhill fast. So what's the better solution? Store whole onions in a cool, dry, well-ventilated space like a pantry, storage cabinet, or basement. Let them breathe by placing them in mesh bags, paper sacks, or open baskets. Skip the plastic, it traps moisture and speeds up spoilage. And here's a common mistake. Keeping onions near potatoes. Don't. Potatoes release moisture and gases that cause both to spoil faster. Keep them separated to make them last longer. Now, if you've already cut or peeled an onion, that's a different story. Go ahead and refrigerate it, but make sure it's sealed tightly in a container or wrapped securely to avoid any smell spreading around. For whole uncut onions, though, sticking to room temperature storage is the best way to lock in that bold flavor, crisp texture, and long shelf life. Let me know if this surprised you. Drop a comment that says, "No more soggy onions," if you're storing them the right way from now on. Food number 4, garlic. Garlic is one of those kitchen essentials that most of us always have on hand, but keeping it in the fridge? That's where things can go wrong. Cold temperatures might seem harmless, but they actually encourage garlic to sprout. Once it does, you'll notice those green shoots starting to grow, and they come with a bitter taste that can throw off the entire dish. Not exactly the flavor boost you're hoping for. The fridge is also a humid environment, which means more moisture, something garlic doesn't handle well. That extra dampness can lead to mold, shorten its shelf life, and dull its signature sharpness. Over time, refrigeration starts to break down the natural compounds that give garlic its bold, spicy kick. You might not even realize it's happening, but your meals won't taste quite the same. And because garlic is so porous, it easily absorbs smells from nearby foods. So if you've got cheese, leftovers, or fruit in the fridge, your garlic could end up with a strange, muddled scent that affects its flavor. The best way to store garlic? Keep it at room temperature in a dry, well-ventilated spot. Let it breathe. Use something like a mesh bag, a wire basket, or a ceramic bowl with holes. These help prevent moisture buildup and keep your garlic fresh longer. Avoid plastic bags or sealed containers. They trap humidity and speed up spoilage. Once you've peeled or chopped garlic, sure, you can refrigerate it. Just make sure it's tightly sealed to keep the smell contained. For long-term storage, you can also freeze it or submerge it in oil, but be cautious. Garlic and oil mixtures need to be refrigerated and used quickly to prevent bacterial growth. Handled right, garlic can stay fresh and flavorful for weeks, even months. Give it space to breathe, and it'll bring that powerful aroma and taste to every meal you make. If you've been storing garlic the wrong way, now's the perfect time to change. Let it breathe and it'll return the flavor in every bite. Food number 5. Avocados. If you've ever popped an unripe avocado in the fridge and wondered why it never softens or worse, turns rubbery and flavorless, you're not alone. But there's a simple reason for it. Avocados ripen thanks to a natural gas they produce called ethylene. It works best at room temperature, slowly transforming a hard, bland fruit into that creamy, buttery goodness we all love. But cold temperatures put that ripening process on pause or sometimes stop it completely. That's why a firm avocado tossed into the fridge can end up stuck in limbo, hard on the outside, bland on the inside, and never quite ready to eat. Now, once an avocado is fully ripe, chilling it for a short time can help slow down the ripening and buy you a couple of extra days. But timing matters. Leave it too long, and it can start to break down, becoming mushy, watery, or even slightly rancid due to fat oxidation. That's not what you want on your toast. If you've already sliced it open, things get a little more delicate. The exposed flesh reacts quickly with air, turning brown and losing its appeal. To slow that process, store the cut avocado in an airtight container. Adding a little lemon or lime juice to the surface can help preserve that vibrant green color and fresh taste. The best approach? Let avocados ripen naturally at room temperature. Want to speed it up? Try placing them in a brown paper bag with a banana or an apple. These fruits release ethylene too and help move things along. Once it's soft and ready, then and only then consider using the fridge to hold it for a bit longer. Remember, a little patience goes a long way. Let your avocados ripen on their own, and they'll reward you with the perfect texture and flavor every time. If you're team no fridge for firm avocados, drop a comment below that says, "Let it ripen right." Food number 6. Bananas. Bananas are one of the few fruits that truly thrive in warm conditions. Put them in the fridge too early, and you're likely to end up with something that looks overripe on the outside but feels underdone inside. Cold temperatures interrupt the natural ripening process. The peel darkens quickly, making it seem like the banana is ready to eat. But the inside often stays firm, starchy, and lacking that sweet, creamy flavor you expect. Refrigeration also messes with the way bananas convert starch into sugar, leaving them bland and oddly textured. There's more. The cold breaks down the banana's cell structure, so when it warms back up, you're left with a fruit that's mushy, watery, and not very appetizing. Moisture can also collect on the peel, which encourages mold growth, especially if they've already started to ripen. So, what's the right move? Keep bananas at room temperature, ideally hanging on a hook where they have airflow and won't bruise. Want to slow down the ripening? Try separating each banana from the bunch. That small trick can buy you a bit more time before they start to spot. Now, if your bananas are already overripe, refrigeration won't help, but freezing can. Just peel and slice them before tossing them into the freezer. They're perfect for smoothies, oatmeal, or baking. You can even mash them up and freeze the puree for banana bread or pancakes down the line. Bottom line? Let bananas ripen on the counter, not in the cold. They'll taste better, last longer, and you'll get that soft, sweet texture they're meant to have. If you're keeping your bananas out of the fridge from now on, let us know in the comments with hang, don't. Food number 7. Whole melons. There's nothing quite like a juicy, sweet slice of melon on a warm day. But here's something most people don't realize. If you're refrigerating whole melons like watermelon, cantaloupe, or honeydew before they're cut, you're actually dialing down their flavor. That's because melons continue to develop their natural sugars after they've been picked. When you store them in the fridge too soon, That process slows down or even stops entirely. The result? A melon that looks ripe but falls short on sweetness and satisfaction. Cold temperatures can also mess with texture. The cells inside melons are delicate, and extended refrigeration can break them down. That's when you get that watery, mushy feeling, especially with watermelon. It's not spoiled, but it's definitely not as good as it could be. And here's something else to consider. Studies show that melons stored at room temperature retain more antioxidants than those kept in the fridge. So not only does the flavor suffer when chilled too early, you could also be losing out on some of the health benefits that make melons such a smart choice in the first place. Now, once a melon is cut, it's a different story. At that point, refrigeration is essential. It keeps bacteria at bay and helps preserve the fruit's freshness. Just make sure to store cut melon in an airtight container and try to enjoy it within 3 to 4 days. To prevent it from drying out, you can place a layer of plastic wrap directly over the exposed flesh before sealing the container. So here's the golden rule. Let your melon ripen fully at room temperature before you chill it. You'll get better taste, better texture, and more nutritional value in every bite. If you're a fan of sweet, juicy melon, drop a comment that says, "Let it ripen, then chill." Food number 8, bread. Here's a common mistake that many of us make. Putting bread in the fridge, thinking it'll stay fresh longer. But the truth is, cold storage actually makes bread go stale faster, not slower. Here's why. In cool temperatures, the starch molecules inside bread begin to crystallize much more quickly. This process, called retrogradation, leads to a tough, dry texture even if the bread is wrapped in plastic. Sure, refrigeration might slow down mold growth, but it comes at the cost of taste and texture. And honestly, that trade-off just isn't worth it. Another issue: moisture imbalance. The fridge creates a damp environment that makes the crust soggy while drying out the inside. That contrast, wet on the outside, dry on the inside, leaves you with a loaf that's just not pleasant to eat. And if condensation builds up inside the packaging, it can actually encourage mold, not prevent it. So while it might feel like you're doing the right thing, refrigerating bread often has the opposite effect. The better option depends on how quickly you plan to eat it. If you'll go through the loaf within a few days, store it in a bread box or a cool, dry pantry to keep it soft and flavorful. But if you need to keep it longer, freezing is your best friend. Just slice the bread first, so you can take out only what you need. When you're ready to eat, pop it in the toaster or oven for a few minutes. That little bit of heat brings back the crisp outside and soft center that fresh bread should have. So next time you're tempted to toss a loaf into the fridge, keep it cool, keep it dry, or keep it frozen. But skip the chill if you want your bread to stay fresh and satisfying. If you're all about soft, fresh bread, let us know in the comments with "No fridge, just fresh." Food number 9, honey. Honey is one of nature's most remarkable foods. It doesn't spoil. When stored properly, it can last indefinitely, thanks to its unique makeup. With low moisture content and high acidity, honey creates an environment where bacteria and mold simply can't survive. It's a natural preservative all on its own, and that means it doesn't need the fridge, ever. In fact, putting honey in the refrigerator is one of the quickest ways to ruin its smooth, pourable texture. Cold temperatures speed up the process of crystallization, where the glucose separates from the water and forms tiny sugar crystals. While crystallized honey is still safe to eat, it becomes thick, gritty, and much harder to spread or drizzle. Refrigeration accelerates that process, making honey solidify much faster than it would at room temperature. On top of that, the chill can mute the natural sweetness and delicate floral notes that make high-quality honey so enjoyable. Over time, the flavor flattens out, and you lose some of what makes honey special in the first place. So what's the right way to store it? Keep your honey in a sealed container at room temperature, away from direct sunlight, and any sources of heat. A kitchen cabinet or pantry works perfectly to maintain its silky texture and rich, vibrant flavor. And if your honey does crystallize, don't worry. Just place the jar in warm water and stir gently until the crystals dissolve. It'll return to its smooth, golden state in no time. Skip the fridge, and honey will reward you with years of natural sweetness, always ready, always easy to use. If you agree that honey should stay silky and spoonable, let us know in the comments. Never chill the honey. Food number 10. Olive oil. Olive oil is a kitchen staple for good reason, rich in flavor, versatile in use, and packed with health benefits. But putting it in the fridge? That's a move that can do more harm than good. Cold temperatures cause olive oil to solidify, forming a cloudy, waxy layer that can be both unappealing and inconvenient. While this doesn't ruin the oil, it makes pouring and cooking with it a hassle, especially when you're trying to prepare a quick meal, and it takes time to bring it back to a usable state at room temperature. But there's more. When olive oil is chilled and then exposed to warmer air, condensation can form inside the bottle. Even a small amount of moisture can promote bacteria growth and lead to spoilage, cutting down its shelf life. This is especially risky with extra virgin olive oil, which is less processed and more sensitive than refills. Aside from the cold, olive oil has 3 major enemies: heat, light, and air. Direct sunlight and high temperatures speed up oxidation, causing the oil to turn rancid and lose both its flavor and its nutritional value. So, what's the best way to store it? Keep your olive oil in a cool, dark place like a pantry or cupboard away from stoves, ovens, and windows. Use dark glass bottles or stainless steel containers to block light and protect the oil from going bad. When stored properly, olive oil can stay fresh and flavorful for months, ready to bring out the best in your cooking with its natural richness and aroma. If you're keeping your olive oil cool but not cold, drop a comment that says, "Cool and dark, not cold." So there you have it, 10 everyday foods that should never go in the fridge. While it might seem like cold storage keeps everything fresher, sometimes it does more harm than good. From dulling the flavor and ruining the texture to stripping away nutritional value, storing these foods the wrong way could be costing you more than you realize. But with just a few simple changes, you can keep them tasting better, lasting longer, and delivering the full benefits they were meant to offer. So next time you're about to toss tomatoes, honey, or potatoes into the fridge, pause for a second and think twice. Which one of these surprised you the most? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the bell so you never miss out on more smart food and health tips. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.